Okay, Nightmare Zone survivors. Time for Nightmare Zone again. Episode 130. There's like 4 or 3 days to go. We're very close to the end. I got a shout out for Grumble Stiltskin and to his guinea pig Kaz. So there you go. He watched all the videos, which is crazy because that's a ton of videos. Like, people always ask me, oh, do I need to watch all the videos? No, you should watch the videos you want to watch. But I know that doesn't answer the question. People are like, oh, what will I miss? I would say the important videos to watch would be all of Season 1 is pretty good if you're just getting into Nightmare Zone. Season 2 is pretty good to watch. And Season 3, I would say you could probably skip Season 3 and go into Season 4. Season 4 was pretty interesting. That was the Ralsei protocols. That one was interesting. And then in the endless season, I mean, it's endless for a reason. It's super long. The just go by the episode names. Like, watch the challenge episodes if you want. And basically, just you know, if you're intimidated by the volume of videos, you could just start where I'm currently at. Oh, well, I guess I literally just get my swine and bovine outfit by logging into the game. There it is, the swine and bovine mask. So let's take a look. Why not? Seems like the most logical thing to do. So here is the swine and bovine apron. It's got the swine and bovine logo on it. Just hit me that the logo of the swine and bovine. Is it half a pig and half a cow? Because, I mean, that's what the outfit is supposed to be. It's also got very shiny, so I guess it's like fresh blood on the outfit. And then, of course, the hat is what really brings it together. The half swine on this side and half bovine on the other side. Seems like they put a lot of effort into being anatomical. Like, you could see the surface, the subcutaneous vein is visible on its ear, the major artery. Like the eye, like the removal of the eyeballs, like the injury sealing is obviously seems to be pretty anatomically correct. Definitely not the, I would say it's pretty Halloween-y. He's definitely not going to wear it, though. Get him back to his outfit. Like, whoever we're sending out, they will wear it. And let's see, who we're sending you out. So, congratulations. You are volunteering to wear the swine and bovine outfit. Oh, darn it. Stupid touchy controls. Okay, wait. We're supposed to switch to her. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, today we're going to be talking about Heartland. So yesterday we talked about... Oh yeah, we need to make sure we're running everywhere to gain skill in it. Yesterday we talked about... We have a lot of materials. I may need to pull those out, or I could just start seeing silly, milling the crap out of them. Meta-analysis... Actually, I think I want the EXP more. I want the EXP active before I want the meta-analysis up. So yeah, so yesterday we talked about Daybreak and what I thought could have been better about Daybreak, the weaknesses and how they could have taken it even farther. Today, on the other hand, we're going to be talking about Heartland, because I also think that Heartland fell short of what people were hoping for. And we're going to talk about why that is. And what they could have done... We are swordplay, correct? Yes. And what they could have done to make... Wait, do we have... let me check to see if we got a pyro launcher in my storage vehicle. That'll make it a little easier. We don't. Do I need to go put a pyro launcher in there? Let's get right on that. Let's grab 2 pyro launchers. One for myself... and one for the vehicle. Oh, man. Gotta go all the way to the bottom. I know I complain about that every time, but... Tell you what, I'm going to be complaining about that for a while. I'm going to be complaining about that until it gets fixed, or until they add, like, a way to better manage our UI, instead of having to use these, like, jury-rigged methods. Put this away.
Anyone can hear this. I wouldn't mind
You have gunslinging, don't you? Maybe I should actually use the Echo S1 then. I'll bring them both, so we can swap between them. The Echo S1 is really nice, it's just... You gotta have gunslinging to make it work. Let's go ahead and add in our composting bin. Sounds like we've got a visitor. We need to be going into melee combat.
Need a breather.
Okay. This is my favorite time of the day in the game. Like, I like this one where it's just sun up. Like, it's really, this is just my favorite time of the day in State of Decay. No doubt about it. So, our vehicle is a little low on fuel. Let's fix that. I'll also need to select an objective, because I'm not sure what we're going to be doing for the I might make today a little shorter episode. Basically, when the conversation ends, I might end it. Because we got a lot to do for Halloween. I'm going to be playing Dead Space. Want to make sure that I have time to get all of it and then edit all of the videos. I also would like to demand for food. We can reject these guys. Mysterious broadcast. First we'll do this. We can reject these guys and then, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, and also I need some time to work on the top 6 mods video. Let's go ahead and get that crack-a-lackin' right here. First we'll seed it. We'll squish this guy just because we can. That video is coming along. I've begun to lay down the footage. It's one of these issues where, like, I keep running into footage that I need, but I don't have it, and sometimes it's kind of hard to find. Like, I was looking for footage of where I looted a white noise machine, but
has to answer to me.
so it's just been hard. Because I don't remember when I last looted a white noise machine, and I believe the only people who sells a white noise machine is, I can't even think of the name. A network trader, and we just don't get network traders very often. They're a pretty uncommon trader. The one thing I want to see... Yeah, I was checking to see if the ears had, like, movement, like they're, like, wobbling ear physics. Okay, so we're gonna tell these guys that we're not gonna give them any food because these guys stink. Oh my, we need food.
If you don't help us, we're gonna have to leave so we don't die of starvation here.
Maybe you should start leaving, like, now.
Put us out of our misery, okay?
Time to...
We gotta do right by us.
Oh, there they go.
When we ignore that, we lose valuable supplies.
Wandering off into, like, the sun... I was gonna say the sunset, but they're gonna wander off into the sunrise. The music has this, like, dire, like, oh my god, like, you've left them their own devices. I'm like, yep, well... See that? I'm a good person. It just confirmed it right there. I'm clearly a good person. So, abandoning those guys, that was the moral and just thing to do. Like, confirmed. Anyways, let's talk about Heartland. So Heartland is the second major DLC for State of Decay that's paid. And there are other important DLCs that were added, but they didn't charge for them. You had the Choose Your Own Apocalypse update, That's how I'd introduced Nightmare Zone. That wasn't something you had to pay for, though, which, thank God you didn't have to pay for that. Would have been annoying. And then you also had the Zed Hunter update. Apparently, Zed Hunter was originally something they were going to charge for, but they decided not to. Zed Hunter was a pretty good update. It's what added in the crossbows and the biochems, as well as a bunch of new missions, the various mysterious trader missions. And all of those, I mean, some of them were pretty out of whack and pretty unbalanced, namely the scent block, the bloater cloud grenades, the zombie. Like, they're extremely powerful in the game. But nevertheless, they did add a lot to the game.
I'm here, hon.
But the main thing, though, is that Heartland is the second paid DLC. So since you have to pay for it, and not only did you have to pay for it, it wasn't included on the Ultimate Game Pass, so that was, or the Ultimate Edition. Let's see what you want. Okay, the X-Red Talon guy.
Don't worry about it.
Is right over here. Okay, in order to do the Red Talon guy, we're gonna have to... We are going to have... First, what I want to do is, like, scout the area. I want to see, like, what kind of defenses they have. Like, are they in a building, or did they choose kind of a foolish location? That is step one. And then after that, I will decide how I want to deal with them. So it looks like they're in the... No, they're not in the house. They are over here. Okay, so those guys, we might actually just be able to pick them off with a sniper rifle. Which I actually have a sniper rifle. I have the Echo S2. Let's see if we can try it. First, we need to clear these enemies, though. Basically, we want to see what is the maximum distance that I can see these guys. I kind of want to pop that bloater to try to lure those guys away. I'll just clear them. Okay, looks like my phone wants to go off again. Let me get my phone the heck out of here, ruining my show. Oh, come on.
Time to reload.
There we go. Now we can switch to this. Let's clear some of these zombies out between us and them. Basically, what I'm trying to do is, we just want to see, like, what is the maximum distance I can actually see them from? That's right, we're not going to have any bullets. Okay, where are they? Okay, they're literally at that location right there. Okay, we can see them. Oh. Problem is they can see us, but they're not using silent weapons.
No!
Just like that.
No! Any chance we can go while we're still breathing?
Ah, I thought I could react quick enough to it. So it took a little bit of a setup compared to the more aggressive, just kind of go in and blap them, but...
Enjoy peace eternal, asshole.
So compared to the Echo S1, this weapon has a lot more crosshair sway, so... definitely better to switch to this for more long-range combat. Even medium-range combat, I would say this is better. Unless you just have really bad aim, suddenly. I need to let them react to the sound and turn around first. That's the other thing that's nice about these weapons. They use the same ammo type, so you don't have to carry, like, additional types of ammo. You can just carry the one type of ammo and be done with it. Next thing we want to do is go find out where that guy died and loot his gear. This is one of the ways you can get the Echo S5 grenade launcher, which is the gas grenade launcher. Okay, where did we kill him? Oh,
That's all the ammo I got.
Died on top of the plant bed. Kind of like he's on like an operating table or something. Okay, so we got the SP5K.
This will slow me down.
Let's take. I mean, we could probably just sell the pipe bomb as well. Not a big deal. Now we'll go report back. That was done pretty cleanly. I mean, it took us a moment to kind of set up and get to them. One of the advantages of fighting at such a long range, though, is that the AI does seem to have bad accuracy at long range. So if you can get a weapon that is capable of fighting with a really good scope, then yeah, a lot of times you can just fire from beyond their ability to hit you with any kind of reliability. Let's also call more independent stuff in.
Supply drop my way. Please and thank you.
Try out there.
Anyways, okay, back on subject. So today we're talking about Heartland. Being the second DLC, this was kind of Undead Labs' chance to, like I said, shore up some of the weaknesses in the game. And,
Thanks.
what does she
Please
give me?
accept this. You've more than earned it.
Hunting
Thanks,
crossbow. I mean, I guess the real payment is the stuff that we get from the former Red Talon agent. Oh my gosh. It's like perfectly in the... There we go. I don't know who's shooting, but... Oh, did they become a community? We managed to wrest control of this group away from a crazy person by violent means, and they apparently forgave us. Oh, I guess they're talking about the... Okay, I didn't know they became a community that lives here. You'd think they would become allies immediately, considering that I did that just to save them, but whatever. One more quest and they'll become an ally. But yeah, so Heartland. This was their chance to address the issues with State of Decay, and the issues they wanted to address is story. That's probably the main thing. The main thing that Heartland was going to do was add story into the game. In fact, that's one of the main things they emphasized, was this idea that you can play as either Quincy and Helena or Larice and Fiona, and that would be like one of the really big points. And along the way, yeah, there would be story stuff like... Wait, what were the story things like? I'm trying to think of that. Oh, yeah, you could discover a little bit about the network, you know, get to learn a little bit about Lily Ritter, get to kind of catch up on Trumbull Valley. So there's going to be a little bit of nostalgia going on, getting to see the original Trumbull Valley, kind of cash in on it a little bit, which I didn't think that was a bad idea. I think there's right ways and wrong ways to do nostalgia, and I didn't think any harm of the way they... There's my grass cutter. Oh, the way they presented it. it was also an opportunity to enhance the mechanics of the game. Because they wanted to add in this base called Jurassic Junction, which was going to be the biggest base in the game, which, God, the computers are very insistent on reminding you of it. And also to give you, like, all new facilities, just to have this super powerful base that you weren't able to construct anything like it in the core game. So, despite also new enemies, it was an opportunity to add in new kinds of enemies into the game, these new Blood Plague enemies, as well as kind of push the story of State of Decay further. So where did Heartland go wrong? The problem with Heartland... it also gave a new map. That was another thing they were saying, that people wanted a new map, so going back to Trumbull Valley, that was in many ways a new map, especially because a lot of people played State of Decay 2 as their first map, so they wouldn't even recognize Trumbull Valley. So, in some ways, a new map. So where did the game go wrong? Well, basically, Heartland basically went wrong everywhere. The first problem was the new map was not playable in the main game. Like, people... I don't think they had a problem with Heartland being its own standalone adventure, but I think what they really wanted was for being able to move their existing community into Heartland afterwards is kind of like an unlockable feature. But that was the first problem. The map was not playable outside of Heartland.
Intelligence and strength. Those are the keys to scavenging. Don't go into a place blind, and always bring backup.
Enjoy peace eternal, asshole.
Okay, he's not going to scream. Normally, the three of them would scream after the first one is killed. And I was hoping to compensate for the movement of his head, but that did not happen. But, so yeah, that was the first problem. So problem number one, the map was not playable outside of the Heartland game mode. According to the developers, they designed it in that way, so it was not designed in a way that it would be compatible outside, but regardless of their reasons, it disappointed people. People wanted to be able to play Heartland outside of the DLC. So what this meant is that Heartland became this kind of vacuum environment where, once again, just like Daybreak, you're taken out of the game and you can't really interact with it. The second problem with Heartland is that it didn't provide any real rewards outside of it. So it kind of had the opposite problem of Daybreak. The issue with Daybreak is that it didn't have any story or anything really like that, but at least it had, and the gameplay wasn't particularly good, but at least it had stuff that you could bring back to the main game, and it wasn't hard to acquire them, at least in terms of logistics. It might be annoying to grind the prestige points, but all you had to do was call in the prestige trader and buy them. There was no trouble transferring the items over. Heartland has the problem where there's very little of value in the game. There's very little stuff that you would actually want to transfer over to begin with. And some of the stuff that would be pretty cool to transfer over, it's just not allowed to. For example, the Plague Busters, they're not allowed outside of Heartland, probably because they'd be insanely OP. Like, they're one of the most powerful things in the game. But, in addition to that, the thing that makes the mod that makes the Plague Busters can't be transferred over as well. And many of the things you get are just different kinds of guns and whatnot. And while some of them are pretty good, like the Echo series guns, they're just, like, not mind-blowing. They're not like, oh my god, these are, like, some of the best things ever. They're not, like, facilities. They're just guns. So that's another problem with Heartland. So like, right now, like I said, let's just continue listing off all of the issues. Another problem with Heartland is that it just didn't live up to the story. Like, they said that there would be this, like, amazing story. You know, oh, I don't know about amazing, but they said there would be a story and that it would expand the game. And while technically there's a story, won't take that away from the game, it wasn't really it wasn't mind-blowing, it wasn't interesting, it was really, really basic. The story was kind of like, oh yeah, that's it. And what I mean by that is, there are so many things, and they're not even like cliffhanger things, they're just like, there's just so many things that, like, why didn't we talk about this? They're such basic issues that could have been addressed within the story. For example, when you play as Quincy, he hints towards the idea that the network had its origin from what Lily Ritter learned in Trumbull Valley, and good point. But why don't they expand on it? They pretty much never talk about it, except at the very beginning, where he just brings that point up. He's like, hey, don't you know that this is where the network got started? You know, that's pretty neat. And then they really don't talk about it. Yeah, he talks a little bit about how he views Lily Ritter as his hero, etc. But they don't talk about the origin of the network, and that's an interesting subject. I'd like to know more about the origin of the network. Okay, this was one of those mysterious self-cleaning infestations. I kind of will complain about it, since I need some minutes in the game of things to do. But the next issue is that Ray Santos, he's one of the characters that was like a side character, but a relevant side character in State of Decay 1. And he's someone who was really involved with Marshall. He was really big in the city. The city was really important. He was like becoming kind of a political figure. So he's someone who would know a lot about Trumbull Valley. He would know stuff about the people there. And he just doesn't talk about it. It's like he doesn't tell you like what happened to Trumbull Valley. He doesn't tell you like what happened to the communities there, like what happened to the Grange. The Grange isn't really, to what I understand, they're not even referenced, which is one of the communities in State of Decay 1. They don't talk about the law place, the courtroom. Because the courthouse does get invaded by zombies, but they don't get wiped out. Just many of them die, but a community is still there. Once again, they don't address, like, what happened. It's like, what happened to the community? Why don't they talk about it? That's, once again, another subject that people would have been interested in learning about. Oh, there's the Screamer. Or one of them, at least. Okay, so the other Screamer goes ahead to sound the alarm. Got to make sure we look behind us. So a lot of them are answering the call. So let's just start thinning them out. Oh. Moves his head, of course. There's the other Screamer. Oh, the other zombie was in front of him.
Enjoy peace
Got
eternal,
him.
asshole.
Okay, one left. Get in there and finish him off. Got it. Okay, that's cleaned up.
I'm headed your way. Hold the
These
fort.
guys want guns? Sure, I'll go get them a gun. So that was another issue there. On the flip side, then you've got the Larisse and Fiona. And so Larissa's story is that she is the daughter of Mickey Wilkerson. And the Wilkersons play a pretty big role in State of Decay 1. But they don't answer any questions about the Wilkersons. It's like, what happened to them? Where is Job Wilkerson? Did he die? Did he go somewhere else? They don't even acknowledge him. And then there's this Auntie Wilkerson who isn't explained. They're like, who is her? I mean, it's fine that they have an aunt, but they don't mention it. She's just an additional character. But she's a character that they don't acknowledge her or anything like that. It's just like she's just there. And once again, they don't answer any of the important questions that people would want to know about in relationship to the game. So for it to have a story, it doesn't have a lot of story in... What do these guys want? Yeah, let me put some of these guns away so that they don't take one of my good guns. Let's get a PPK is fine. I think I need to refuel as well. The main story content in Heartland that they answer, one of it is you learn a lot about the Echo series stuff, the Echo base, or Echo, not Echo base, that's Star Wars. You learn a lot about the Echo lab, which is where these anti-zombie weapons come from, which is, I mean, kind of cool to know, I guess, but I was more interested in learning about what happened to Trumbull Valley, and you get this new substance, this new plague matter, basically a super plague art known as the Plague Wall, and they allude to, you learn a little bit, you don't even learn about Cleo, like you hear some conspiracy theories about Cleo and the government, and then the ending as a cliffhanger as to, like, you know, is the government involved, like what does it mean at the end? So it just didn't give people a lot of substance, and it wasn't done where it was really mysterious. It just felt like nothing was answered. And a lot of information that was given was trivia. And a lot of the stories just end. Like Larissa's story about her trying to track down Mickey Wilkerson to meet her father, after you do a few quests for him, it just ends. It's done. Gone. Even if you choose all of the dialogue options where they get along, the story just ends out of nowhere. There's no resolution or anything, so it's really unsatisfying. Okay, it's you, I guess? You're the one who wants a gun?
Catch you later.
You're the one who wants a gun? There.
Don't get dead.
Okay, now that they become an ally, we can see...
Someone can hear this. I really need some help right about now.
Oh my gosh. I want to see what skills they have, but...
It's good to see you.
Okay, first, what do they got for sale?
Sounds like a plan.
Materials, I think we need medicine. No, we don't need medicine, actually. Actually, yes, we do need medicine.
Sounds good.
I'll take all of this stuff, actually. Oh, let me look at your skills.
It's good to see you.
Nothing. Interesting.
Always glad to see you.
Cooking. Somewhat interesting.
Good to see you.
And nothing. These guys are pretty flexible. They're also giving us ammo and EXP. Okay. Looks like we got a lot of enemies here to fight.
Dear God, I'm tired.
Okay, let me... get these armored zombies sliced up real quick. Oh, couldn't dodge even though I was mashing the B button. Got him.
There's a horde heading our way, but
Now we gotta go back and defend the base. The reason I'm getting these medical stuff is because we can flip these pretty effectively by... Actually, let's answer the survivor in trouble first. And let's remove that quest marker.
When you get here.
The, oh, let's look at 4 screamers. Let's squish all of them real quick. There we go. Wow, I ran over 5 zombies, and I'm already steaming. Wow. Oh my god, here's another screamer.
Shit, they're in real trouble.
Okay, apparently these guys need help. Let's go ahead and activate our sniper support. When you activate sniper support, you don't have to use it. That's not a requirement.
It's locked.
So we could just kind of have it on standby. We could also just choose to not use it.
Thank you for that. You were just in time.
Okay, so it looks like it was just a quick rescue mission. I owe you one. I don't have much. It's okay. Sure.
Thank you for that.
Do I get
You were just
anything?
in time.
Yes. Food. And 30 influence. So basically a feral kill. Powerhouse almost maxed out. Very nice. But yeah, so those were the problems with Heartland. Oh, wait, the enemies. So So the enemies also were the Blood Plague enemies, and on one hand, I don't think they are necessarily a bad idea, but they're not enough. Like, they should have done the Blood Plague enemies as well as a brand new enemy that's never been seen before. You could kind of argue that maybe the Plague Wall is that, but the Plague Wall is basically a super Plague Guard. That's essentially what it is. I mean, it has very similar behavior to a Plague Guard. It's basically, it can't fight back for the most part, and what it does is call in reinforcements. It's just that it has more health. That's basically the main difference. I think I can get down right here. Let's carefully, let's not bump the car too hard on the way up. One thing to keep in mind is this vehicle is not out of commission until it's completely on fire. So I am perfectly fine to drive it in this condition. It's burning, but it's not like, it doesn't have like roaring flames. Okay, now it has roaring flames coming out of it, so we need to get out. And now we're going to turn on our sniper support since these guys are coming to try to ruin everything. And once again, getting bailed out by the sniper support. That's why having that sniper support is so effective. 10 minutes, it's going to come back. Go ahead and get the siege started.
Just remember, everyone fights.
God, I'm hardly having any time to talk about Heartland, which is annoying. Which, on the other hand, I mean, at least is keeping me busy.
You guys are all right.
I'm gonna need my anti-siege weapons just in case. Even though this should be a minor siege, I just like to be prepared just in case we're gonna bring out our BFG and our pyro launcher. Here's our BFG.
This will slow me down.
Deadheads are going crazy on our base.
And I want a pyro launcher that's already preloaded, preferably. The main thing, though, is we can chop them up.
Keep it up. Let's win this one.
Now, with the two towers, we've got the sniper tower here, and we've got this one over here. This base should be pretty well defended now. Because we got both of the major entrances covered, and I kind of wish that we could put this here. But you can't have everything. Let's see how they do. So, like as I said, the main advantage of a watchtower is, one, it gives you the morale, but the second thing is, these guys up here are heavily encouraged to shoot with their guns instead of jump into melee combat, so... Okay, I thought we had a siege. I get it, it's a minor siege.
Okay, I'm punching out. You're on your own.
Okay.
Hey, look at us. We're alive.
That was legit the saddest siege I have ever seen. It was basically no different than it was just... I don't even know what to say about it. Actually, give me my pyro launcher back.
Looking forward to tomorrow.
And give me my Echo S2. I want a espresso so we can continue trying to level her up. We have no objectives at the moment, so I'm probably just going to go out and chop some zombies up and talk about Heartland. Oh, we do have an objective. I need to go repair the vehicle. Let's go and mark our destroyed vehicle. That's the wizard van. The survey car. Oh yeah, so the new they added these new variant enemies, which were interesting, but they still needed to add in a real enemy. And then on top of that, the plague heart, or the plague wall, also, I'm not going to take it away. It was an interesting idea, but I still feel like they needed a new enemy, and I think the best idea would have been at the very end of the game. Okay, so now we're going to get to the improvements. 40 minutes into the episode, and we're finally getting to the improvements. So the first thing they should have done was introduce a brand new enemy that maybe they hinted towards. Maybe you would hear it, but the idea is that it was inside the gauntlet, and it doesn't leave the gauntlet. What the heck? Is this a naked zombie? We have to see this. Okay, I thought this guy was, like, legit naked. This is the thumbnail. Oh my god. Let me try to pose him. This is so the thumbnail. No, no, with his crotch in our face. Oh my god, this is the thumbnail. I want to get his head in range as well. Oh yeah, yeah, walk a little closer. Oh yeah, maybe I get one with his... Alright, with his butt. This is the thumbnail. Zombie butt in the face. Oh, this is the thumbnail. Man, it's like we're sniffing his butt. Okay, I'm gonna spare him just because. I'm gonna. So, when did I just do this? Oh, okay. So we're about 41 minutes in. I got to make a note of that. 41 min SS for screenshot. That's the that's officially what we're doing. I don't know if that's just a rare zombie or something, or if he just didn't spawn in with his full kit, but yeah, that's weird. Anyway, so yeah, that's the first thing they should have done. There should have been I think that would have been super cool in Heartland if they had this whole concept that there was a brand new kind of enemy, and maybe you heard him. And you heard, like, legends about him, but no one's ever seen him. But he's there. They're inside the gauntlet. And then when you destroy the first plague wall, not only can you discover them, but you've also released them. They can actually exit the gauntlet, and then they're added into the game world. And I mean, I don't know what, if you're wondering, what kind of enemy would it be? Like, I don't know. I'm just saying they should have added some kind of awesome enemy that the entire time you just hear of it. You've like heard the legend of this insane enemy, or like just like brief stories of like people saying like that there's something that they heard and they don't know what it is. Something, it's coming from Marshall, and that would have been really cool. Something that like I said, would have added something into the game that would have been interesting. So that's the next thing they should have done. The next issue is that they should have talked more about the nostalgic elements of the story that people wanted to hear about. They should have talked about what happened to the Wilkersons, you know, what happened to Job. You know, what have they been up to since then? I mean, have they literally just been doing the exact same stuff this entire time? Like, has there been literally no story progression? Ray Santos, he should have talked about, like, what happened to the courthouse, like, what happened to the Grange, like, because he had a lot of connections, he knew people. And I don't even feel like those are, like, really extensive things that needed to be done. And if they couldn't get the story done, then why did they do 2 separate playthroughs? I mean, I think they did it just as kind of, like, a excuse for, like, oh, you can play the game multiple times and you'll get, like, more story out of it. When in reality, that just wasn't the case. I wonder if I can execute this guy without her noticing. I can. And then, so basically, the story, like, there should have been more personal elements to the story. I think another problem is that the character stories of the people you recruit, people like Malik, like the girl who's like the fabricator, all of those characters, like, their story just ends so quickly, like why? I should have just dodged, but now I got that stupid injury for basically no reason at all. And, because, like, there were some interesting stories to be had. Like, you get the army captain, and then you have the Red Talon guy. The army captain, he has some passive dialogue where he kind of talks to the Red Talon guy about loss and, like, how to deal with his unit getting wiped out. But, once again, they don't build on it. Like, he doesn't respond. It's fine to fight these guys in melee combat since we do. Ah, I thought I could cancel my move there.
I need a breather.
Okay. Go ahead and use medical advice.
I'm hurt. Who's got advice?
Here's a little advice that'll maybe take the sting out.
And sniper support's back. Let's go ahead and act. Let's just prime it. Get it act in case we need to use it. So that's the next issue. I think another problem is if they couldn't get all the dialogue, then they should have only had one character path. I think it should have been Quincy, because I think it's a lot more relevant to talk about like the origin of the network and whatnot.
Get sick and die out here.
But that would have been another option. Like, there should have been more personal story content where you learned about what happened in between State of Decay 1 and State of Decay 2. I think they should have talked a lot about the network. Let's go with scouting. Because the network was a really big deal. Like, the network is one of the major factions, and we don't really get to learn a whole lot about it. Like, we get kind of like vague hints at like maybe there's some internal strife whenever you get one of those like failed network expeditions, and you can read the note, and they kind of like start trash talking Lily and whatnot. So you get these like really vague allusions to the existence of a story, but we never get like anything like solid. So that's another thing they could have done to improve Heartland. A third thing they should have done is they should have added something that you could take back. I don't know what that could have been, like maybe additional facilities, maybe some kind of like new blood plague items, like maybe like the cures, for example. I mean, that would have been even more OP, but if you didn't know about it, there was a... Oh, that's right, we have gunslinging. I was wondering, like, what the heck happened there? There was basically a super cure in Heartland, where basically not only did it cure you of blood plague, but basically for... I think like maybe 5 minutes? Maybe for 5 minutes you would be immune to further infection. I mean, that would be... That's crazy. It's like, it would make using the Zed Hunter items even better. I mean, maybe that's a good reason not to do it, because it makes the Zed Hunter items even more powerful. But there should have been something to bring back to the primary game, because for the most part, it's like you just play Heartland once, maybe twice if you really want to see the other side of the story, the quote-unquote story. But there's nothing to bring back. Like, you've got the echo weapons, and that's it. The next problem is that it's a real pain to even try to bring the weapons back. If you want to bring the echo weapons back, well, you need the assistance of either another player or another Xbox account that you can use yourself. So for the most part, it's going to be the assistance of another player, which is also annoying. So there's all these inconveniences, and there's all these things that they just don't go far enough, and they really, like, left people feeling let down. Now, overall, I think people enjoyed Heartland more than Daybreak, and I think that's because, in the end, you're still basically playing State of Decay. There's so much more to do, and there were a lot of really powerful facilities that you got to explore.
We have medical skills to trade, if you're interested.
Okay, go do that.
Don't do anything stupid before I get there.
So more rewards, stuff that you could actually bring back to the main game, more story content, especially personal story content. I think it's okay if they don't go into the heart of the story, just to keep that mysterious, because horror games typically like minimalistic stories where they do intentionally keep things mysterious. I don't think that's a mistake, but there was nothing wrong with talking about the fate of the different characters in the previous game. That is absolutely something that would not have been this big old spoiler or anything like that. Let's also cure our infection while we're here. How's our skills looking? We're maxed on 2 of them, so swordplay, that's going to get maxed out next just by chopping up enemies over time. Assassinating enemies, not the most interesting stuff. Normally, I would not do that and record it, or that's something I would do off screen. But as long as I've got something relevant to talk about, I don't mind assassinating the zombies. So they needed a way to add in more rewards, interesting rewards, as well as provide a more accessible way to get those rewards into your game world, because it just stinks that you need the usage of another player, because that means you either need someone you trust to help you, and if you don't have someone you trust, you have to take a chance with someone who might steal your stuff. Like, there's no guarantee that they'll just give it back.
I'm gonna need a lighter load.
Take all that stuff.
Hello. A pleasure to have you.
Okay, let's see what these guys want.
What's up?
See ya.
Okay, so they want some supplies over here at the Super Gross Trailer. A very descriptive name, for sure. And I think those are the primary things that Heartland needed. And then I think Heartland would have been... Oh, and of course, the Heartland map should have been designed to be playable, which means they should have added additional bases. I mean, that could have been it right there. Like, maybe there would have been some cool bases, and maybe some of those facilities, even though some of them were super OP. I mean, it's like, just give us something to play with in the core game, because, once again, Heartland did nothing to address the repetition of the core game, and that's what those paid DLCs need to address. Like, Daybreak at least brought in some items. Like, you see me use them frequently, the red talent facilities. Those are things that, yeah, at least they influence the core game. They change the way you build your bases. Heartland could have given you a whole new home with... it could have been a hard mode map where maybe there are things that are only available on Heartland, but, you know, you could move them into other maps, but you could only obtain them in Heartland, and it would be like a hard mode map, basically. That would have been, or at least I think it would have been, pretty cool. The problem is that in the end, Heartland didn't do any of that. And that's why it really disappointed people, especially as something that was not a part of the Ultimate Edition. So you either had to pay for Heartland separately, or you had to own the Xbox Game Pass. One of the two. And I think that left people feeling really bitter overall. Like, people were not as bitter over it as
Not bad.
Daybreak.
Bad.
But nevertheless, they were kind of left feeling... I don't know if this was worth $10. And once again, so I think that for a premium piece of content, which is something that is designed to expand the game,
What I've been talking about.
content that you need to pay for, it just doesn't go far enough. And Heartland, when they announced it, they made it seem like Heartland was going to come out, like it would have been out like now. It's something, they said that Heartland was going to come out in either Q3 or Q4. It came out basically in summer, so Q2. I feel like it came out too early. Like, if it came out 1/4 of a year later, but it included more of the features I just mentioned, I think that would have added a ton of value in. And I don't think people would have been raising the question, like, hey, why isn't this part of the Ultimate Edition? Like, it feels like you're ripping us off. I don't think it would have been nearly something that you heard, because it would have added a lot more value, and it would have felt like, oh yeah, you know, this feels like it's worth $10. That was the problem with Heartland. It didn't feel like it was really worth... It was questionable whether it was worth $10. And that's what I think they should have done to improve Heartland. New map, items or things that you could obtain that changed the way you play the game and were available everywhere. Oh yeah, we gotta go get the rucksack. Some kind of new mysterious enemy that is trapped inside of the gauntlet, and you, like, release it, like, you free it. And then, since you can move into the game after you beat Heartland in this theoretical version of Heartland, it would add a new kind of enemy that you would deal with. More storyline, especially stuff...
When you did, if your people need anything, medicine, treatment, just let us know. Hi.
What was that she just did? See, all these guys have knowledge in medicine and whatnot. What are they selling? Nothing relevant. Well, that's going to be the end of this episode anyways. Let's head back. So we got our medical guys are basically right next door. Although I think they're going to move out. I believe they will have a mission where they want to move into a clinic. So they are right next to us, only temporarily. So let's head on home, and that's going to be the end of this episode. But yeah, that's what I think they should have done to make Heartland better. And I feel like, I think the hardest thing to do probably would have been the brand new enemy. Like, not a variant enemy. Keep the blood variants in, but add a brand new enemy. That probably would have been the hardest part. But I think, I definitely think it would have been worth it. I think that would have really That would have really impressed people. Like, it would have it might have exceeded people's expectations, even. And I think that's what State of Decay really needed to do. They needed a DLC that didn't just meet people's expectations, like that really knocked people's socks off and exceeded people's expectations. But what they delivered, that was the problem. It didn't even meet people's expectations. Like, people were expecting more than what Undead Labs delivered, and I don't think it was wrong. I don't feel like they were being unfair for expecting that. I think I'm gonna log out back over there.
Like, right now.
Because, like, I like the view of logging out on kind of like halfway up the tower. Anyways, yeah, that's going to be the end of this episode. So tell me down in the comments section, what did you feel about Heartland? Were you happy with it? Were you somewhat unhappy? Were you like, you know, a little disappointed, but I liked it? Were you completely unhappy with Heartland? What would you have changed about Heartland to make it better? Also, tell me down in the comment section, is there any subject you want me to discuss so that I can not run out of things to talk about, since we're like right at the very end of Season 5? Otherwise, I'll just be playing the game, going through the motions, and I mean, I've been doing that for basically all of Season 5. So anyways, let me know down in the comments section what you think. And of course, here is our crazy swine and bovine outfit. Hopefully you get it before it ends. I don't know what happens afterwards. I don't know if it's like exclusive. I mean, it could be just like the wizard van. I mean, I don't know where the wizard van went. Or maybe there'll be an alternative way to get it, maybe through a bounty or something, but let me know down in the comments section what you think. But at any rate, that is the end of this episode. Like this video if it's entertaining. Subscribe for future State of Decay 2 content. Of course, remember that you don't have to be good to get good.